Buried deep in the lineage of David, there is a man marked for life by his name. A man who thousands of years later would rise from obscurity because of a humble, heartfelt prayer. Experience God's blessing for your life. The prayer of Jabez.
Lord, enlarge it a lot. Let me do a lot for you. Why? That's how God is glorified. Welcome back to the prayer of Jabez. We're on session number 4. If you remember the prayer of Jabez, can we say it together as an audience? And if you're watching by video or television, why don't you read along with us? It's 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verse number 10. Ready? And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed, and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you'd keep me from evil, that I might not cause pain." So God granted him that which he requested. That's the prayer of Jabez. And as you remember, it has 4 parts to it. Part number 1 deals with the blessing. Would you please bless me indeed or a lot? Second part of the prayer, whether you've linked those two together yet, they follow one another. If you're not blessed, I promise you, you're not going to be reaching out to many people. You're going to kind of withdraw. But the more blessing comes into your life, the more it kind of spills over on other people. And that's where you ask God, would you please enlarge my territory or my border? Would you give me more ministry? Would you give me a lot more? A lot more. Not a little more. And I want you to go back to the illustration I talked about. You're in my life, if we're alike in this way, it's probably busy. You probably don't go to bed at night saying, well, I had 5 hours to nothing to do today. So the thought that says, how can I possibly do more for God? You must realize he can't give you more time. There is no more time. And he's not going to do a miracle and make you into be an entirely different person. You're the same person. So what are you really asking him to do? You're asking him, he who knows everything, would you please enlarge my territory where you want me to go? Therefore, God has the prerogative. And he comes over here and he enlarges it for you. And he knows this is precisely, watch this, this is so important. This is part of your destiny. This is one of the reasons I made you. This is one of the reasons I gave you to the family that you're in. And that you look this way, and you've gone to this school, and you think the way you do. It's for this piece of the world I want you to get for me. It's part of your destiny right here. It's really remarkable, isn't it? And if you believe that, you'll just relax a little bit and ask God, please, I don't know how, and that's the next session. We talk the how. How does God give you the power to do this? That's the hand of God. But I want to just give a personal testimony. For all these years I've been praying this, and God's been doing it. It's been something to behold. And this past year, after 30 years, I said to the Lord, would you please double the territory this year? And I remember I wrote it in my journal. And I had a foggiest idea in the world how my ministry could double in a year. It could grow this much, but double. And I said to him, would you please let me do twice as much for you? And I don't know how. The year's not over, but it's already come true. And I'd be the first to tell you it's nothing that I have done, but it's God's reaction. Because whether or not you've ever thought about it before, God has too few people who are saying to him, Lord, let me do more for you. So many of us, when God comes down and taps us on the shoulder, says, would you please do this for me? Nah, no, I can't do that. Get somebody else. And we have no idea what could have been down that road in our whole lifetime. And I'm so convinced so many of us have lost such wonderful things that was down if we just took a step past the comfort zone. Now I want to deal with what exactly happens. Can we make this real practical? I hope it's practical, but I want to make this real practical. When you say that to God, what does he do? What does he do to you? How would you know if it was happening? And as I studied the scriptures back and forth, trying to find out what does God do, I found that he does it 5 different ways. There's some other ones, but these are the primary ones. I could find about 11 of them. But there's 5 of them that are almost 90% of everything. And I want you to take a look as we get into this, into the perspective on the Jabez territory, because the question I want you to be thinking about is, how much territory does God want us to take for him? How much of the world does he want us to take for him? Jesus Christ said it the best. It's called the Great Commission. It's in your workbook. It's Matthew 28, 18 to 20. And it says, and Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all the nations. What's God saying to us? I want this world all mine. I want the world all mine. And I'm commanding you, go get the world. And as I shared with you before, there is no limit. None. This is one of the most astounding truths to me as an individual. One of the surprising things is God's given me some wonderful friends who are people in ministry that are light years down the road from me. Men and women who have touched, whose territories I can't even see. And as I've got to know them, I used to put them in another box, you know. They're nothing like normal people. And then I became friends. And I found out something very, very surprising. They're just like we are. They really are. But there's something unique about them. And that is inside their heart. This is emotional to me. They beg God to let them do more for him. For years of time. Not a little bit of time. Years of time. And what happens is when God sees that in a man or a woman or a young person, he loves to see that. That warms his heart, because then a child of his is coming to him saying, I want to serve you more today, more than ever. Please, let me serve you more. How on earth do you think God feels? And what happens in these people is, my friends, God brings them to there's this new comfort zone, and they grow into it. And then God gives them another opportunity because they keep asking and keep asking and keep asking. And the only reason they're way down there is because they've never stopped asking. What an inspiration that is to me, and hopefully for you. That if you truly, inside of your heart, like God puts in every man and every woman, there's a realization that you were called, you were made in the image of God. And that you were called for greatness for him. And that no matter what you have done in the past, no matter how many failures there may be, that's still your destiny. And it's still the Lord God Almighty who has no limitations with you. And he has so few people who really cry out to him, please, here's how I would say it, do whatever you have to me so that you can use me more. I hope that's down inside of you and it's not so buried under the muck of whatever it may be. Will you let the Lord come and pull it off, and will you once again ask? And will you take that step right past that comfort zone? He does it 5 ways. Let's get into perspectives. Perspective number 1, God enlarges your territory by increasing its size. Its size. Take a look at the verse beneath it. It's Acts chapter 1, verse 8. But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses to me. Now watch this. In Jerusalem, in all Judea, Samaria, and the uttermost parts of the earth. Do you know what's happening there? They're doing one thing. they're being witnesses for more and more and more and more. In Jerusalem's the city, Judea, Samaria is the kind of the county and state. More, move outside. It's more of the same. That's the point. God enables you to serve him by doing more of the same. That's principle number one. It's more of the same. That is, if you're reaching 14 boys in the junior high Sunday school class, and you're saying, God, please let me do more for you, God may put in your mind this thought. Why don't you have this kind of party, and why don't you get 30 boys to come to the party and see if you can get 2 or 3 to stay for Sunday school class the next day? What are you doing? The same thing. No more time, no more energy, no more money, no more nothing. Just, you're reaching more people. Therefore, don't think to yourself, I need more time. No, you don't. You don't need more time. You need more of the same. Ask for more. Ask him to double it. Lord, my class is 14. I know this isn't the Jabez prayer, but I'm going to give him my own. Give me 28 by Christmas. And you probably laugh out loud because you'll say in the back of your mind, how can I do 28 by Christmas? The answer is you can't. That's the whole point. Go ahead and ask. It's the same. No more time, no more money, no more effort. It's wonderful. Just ask for more. Point number 2. Does that make sense to you? It's a good one. Number 2, God enlarges your territory by extending its scope. By extending its scope. The subpoint under there, God enables you to serve him by doing something new. Something new. It's not the same. Look at the verse beneath it. This is amazing. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw his 2 brothers, Simon called Peter and Andrew, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. Then he, Jesus, said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. They immediately left their nets and followed him. Whoa! You talk about a life change. What do you do for a living? I catch fish. Good. It's enough. Let somebody else catch fish. Come with me. Let's catch men. They're the only thing that really lasts forever. You talk about a roundabout face. That's something brand new. Now friends, that doesn't happen that often. It doesn't happen too often that God calls a man or a woman from what they're doing and says, do something entirely different. Sometimes he does, but usually he doesn't. But if you are doing, let's say, you're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're doing this, and then you're saying, God, please let me do more for you. You know what he can do? He can come right over here. No, Lord, I was thinking about this. No, do this. And God adds something brand new to you. Don't say no. Why? This is called comfort zone. I know how to do this. Give me more of this. Just add this to this. God, please. No, it's time for something new. What's your first reaction going to be? I can't do this. That's the way you'll feel. How does this happen? Well, let's say you're working with these 14-year-olds. And you're saying, God, let me do more for you. And the next day at work, one of the guys who goes to church there with you and goes through the same work says to you, you know, I've been sensing I need to do something for God, but I don't know what to do. And I thought, you know, I could probably teach some kids. And I know you teach that Sunday school class. How about if you teach me how for the next 6 months? And then how about we split your class and give me half? Whoa, now I'm helping somebody else. And do you know how to do something? I don't know how to do that. But God just brought, what should you do? Nah, go talk to the pastor about that. I don't know what to do that. Don't you dare say that. You say, you know, whatever God's taught me, I'll be glad to share with you, and let's split it. That'd be great. Something brand new. No matter what it is, you start asking God, let me do more. He can knock at your door and say, what about this? Don't say no. Point number 3.